How do you know when your intuition is talking to you? Do you just know? Is it an inner knowing for you? Do you feel it in your gut? Do you have an interesting taste in your mouth or smell something that clearly isn't there? Intuition can show up in a number of ways. And for a lot of people, it comes through in one of the five senses, which can be really odd if you first start experiencing it and you're not sure what it is. Like suddenly you smell something that doesn't fit your surroundings, it doesn't fit the situation that you're in, but it might be something that brings to mind a memory that's relevant to something going on in your life. I'm Ashley and I'm a high intuitive. For me, I've been experiencing a lot of these things my entire life. And for a long time, I didn't know what they were and I didn't know why these things happened. And I really just thought I was weird. And I know other people thought I was weird too. But I have met a wonderful group of other high intuitives who experience a lot of the same things that I do. These are other people who can communicate with the universe through different methods, including their senses and including using tools in our environment to help us determine truth from false. Your intuition can show up in a lot of different ways, and typically it's very subtle. It's not always this knee-jerk reaction, as sometimes those reactions are actually caused by our trauma and not by our intuition. What I would recommend if you are interested in tuning into your intuition are a few things. First, I would recommend trying to become aware. Start noticing in your life where there are places where you make decisions and how you make those decisions. Are you getting a feeling? Is there something that is helping to guide you in the way that you make a specific decision? Write that down in a journal. Write down the situation that has happened, the decision you made, the things you were considering, and what was going on at the time. And then you can come back to that later when you have more information about what has actually happened. And you can kind of analyze and see, oh, well, was there something here that I thought I knew? Was I not trusting myself? Is there some guidance that I was getting that I didn't quite see before? Those can be really helpful things. Definitely pay attention to the way that your five senses will react in certain situations. Like I said earlier, you may smell something that really seems out of place. You may even get a taste in your mouth. I have a very distinct medicinal sort of numb flavor that does come up for me in certain situations. And that is my intuition talking to me and telling me to beware of the situation. Sometimes you may think that you hear things. If you hear something that isn't there, if perhaps you hear something that is there and you hear it in a way in which it was not intended, that can also be helpful in getting you to where you need to be about the situation. There are some tools that you can use. So as you explore this, I recommend using different tools and sort of exploring what works best for you. So one of the things I love to do is I like to do readings via books. So I will take a book. It can be literally any book. Typically I'll find one on my shelf that really speaks to me, and I will open it to a page that feels right. Find some text on the page, and that typically will have either the answer that I'm looking for or some information around the decision I'm trying to make or the situation that I'm just wanting a little bit more clarity on. That is one of my favorites. I love to use oracle cards and tarot cards. Sometimes, you can just draw a card and get, a nice little message. I like to start my day by using a variety of different cards. So I have an angel number deck that I use every day, another telepathy oracle cards that I use, as well as a traditional tarot deck. For yes and no things, I love to use my pendulum. At first, it seemed really odd, and it really didn't work for me until I truly connected with my intuition. And now, if I have a yes or a no question, I can easily get straight answers from using this. I also love to tune into the radio. So I grew up using this method by using the radio stations and sort of asking questions and changing the station and getting a response in that way. And now, without using so much radio, I will put my playlists on shuffle and often use those to really get the messages that I'm looking for there. I think one of the best things that you can do when you are really first starting to tune into your intuition is notice where you experience self-doubt. So if there is a situation and you seem to have this gut feeling and you think, I don't quite know about this. And then there's that extra voice that comes in and is like, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. Do you trust the first voice? Do you trust the second voice? Which one is actually true to you? Typically, what myself and a lot of high intuitives have seen is that self-doubt comes from a place of fear. And it is not there to help you. It's there to steer you away from trusting your intuition, which for a lot of us has been suppressed in our lives. So I would recommend testing out some tools, doing some journaling, and really paying attention just to what you notice in your life. And if there is something that you're experiencing and you think, do other people experience this? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. There's no two people experience their intuition in exactly the same way, but a lot of us do have some overlap in what are seemingly weird things that have happened to us that we have interpreted as our intuition. So would love to connect with you on those.